G'day, John. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Steelhorse Station. Hope you are well. Now, I think I'm working properly. Although my images managed to get themselves a little bit tangled up. So they've gone the same path as the timer by the looks. I'm having one of those afternoons, I think. I've just concluded it's time to just get on and play the game. So let us jump into here. You can see me, that's a good start. Can you hear me? And let's try that if there's any doubt. We'll be able to tell if I put those on. You can hear me as well. That's a good start. Now let's go in and see what the game's doing. The game appears to be working. I haven't broken that completely. How's your week going, John? There was somebody briefly with you, but I think you're on your Pat Malone there now. Right, here we are. Let's turn that off for the minute. So it is 7 AM. We can bump the time up to be a little bit quicker. We are in November, so a couple of months have gone by. And I've done a couple of things, so the sun will come up fairly quickly, I hope. First of all, I believe the manure heap is now connected to the cow barn. So that's a minor victory. Whether or not it actually makes manure, there seems to be a hidden portion that doesn't show anywhere. So if I go into the Mark's tool, it's quite interesting. So it's now showing me that I've got manure in the cow barn as well as in the manure heap, and those pellets that are sitting hidden somewhere on the map. But the cow barn manure I can't seem to see, so I'm hoping when the cow barn itself fills up, whatever that might be, it'll start to accumulate here. Nonetheless, I also purchased a straw blower, so we can now cut straw in again, because this machine turns raw straw straight into pellets, which we've got to be aware of. Let me just move this equipment. That's very brave of you, John. Chaperoning 29 ladies to a fish and chip outing. Now, what was I saying before I got myself completely constructed? Oh, yes. So the feed mixer, if we put straw in it first, will make pellets. We don't need any feed for the minutes. If we have a look at how our cows are going while we're standing here, so they're about to kick into some better milk production. These ones are about to give birth, so we'll get another 10 cows next month. These ones are just calves, and these ones have got a couple of months to go, so they're going to come along nicely, and the food situation is good. The straw's topped up and the slurry's not too bad, so we don't have to worry much about that. The chickens, so this is the little farm free range ones. This is the home pasture, which we must put some grain in at some point. And then this is the building by the church. So they're all good. Our production. Oh, I did take another sugar beet contract. That's what we'll go and talk about in a minute. And we might do some more baling after. We won't worry about that for now. We got plenty of our own chores to do. Our productions. Yeah, so our butter's coming along. We've got a little bit of bread. So that's all spawning. Happily, the mustard's just working its way through. And cake will be some time. So about a quarter of a way to a load of cake. Producing plenty of strawberries. Oh, I think we've got to go and put some grains in the mill. Now, what I did after the last episode, I was thinking about our sugar situation and those beet contracts that were there, and I decided that I couldn't really let them go by at the price of sugar to buy it in the shop. It made a lot more sense to grab some spoils from doing a couple of contracts. So that's what we've done. So we have a trailer full of sugar beet over there, and we have another contract that we've taken. So that'll give us a bunch that we can turn into sugar, which should allow our productions to run through till next harvest season. In the meantime, what I'm thinking is I've mulched over here, and I'm thinking we'll ultimately take this strip out and turn this section and that all into one field, which for next year, or for when we come to the spring, we'll plant sugar beet in, which I think, and that'll give us plenty to be going on with for our various productions, I think, while we then work on the grain side of things. So that's my plan at the minute. Now, the other thing is we've got alfalfa in here, which is ready to harvest. So I was looking at alfalfa prices somewhere in here. As we work through the work plan, alfalfa, which I've not dealt with before, but it's up near top price, and alfalfa hay improves it a bit. So I'm sort of thinking it makes a bit of sense to cut this alfalfa now, and what would we get for that? Yeah, see, the prices are fairly high at the minute, so I think we'll cut the alfalfa and bale it as hay, and then just sell it, because we don't need feed for the animals, and that'll mean we can work on this, getting this field sorted over the next couple of months. The other thing, so that's all of the work around the farm. The other thing we need to do, when we are over here at the other chicken pen, is I bought a weeder because I was aware that we'd cultivated and planted our fields, and consequently weeds had popped up. So I'm pretty sure we've just got regular weeds in here. We have. We'll take care of those. And this weed is 9 meters, so it'll take care of these pretty darn fast. And while the sun's come out, we can get our weeds sorted. So one of the upsides, in addition to getting a little bit of sugar beet, was the contracts gave us a little bit of cash, and along with the baling contracts we did in the last episode, so we've got a fairly healthy balance there. I'm keen to keep our eyes out for a telehandler or a wheel loader for that matter. So I think we could do with something of that ilk. A small to medium, more on the medium sized tractor would also be a good pickup. And of course we always want some more land. G'day Mark Haythornwaite, how are you sir? Welcome along. I think somebody else lipped in with you, which is good to see. So welcome too. Got any questions? I'm conscious that we could have visitors, seeing that a bunch of people seem to have taken advantage of the free download on the Epic store. So if you've picked up the game and you've got questions, sing out. We're more than prepared to give most things a whirl here and try and answer any questions anyone might have. There are always more knowledgeable people than I in the chat, but for now we'll just concentrate on our weeding. So not being familiar with the process, Mark, I'm assuming that having lodged my mod, I just wait for something to change on the Giants end. Just says pending, and judging by the lists I can see in the forums, it's a good 2 weeks I should expect before they get to anything. Now, did that actually get it all? Let's have a look here. 19 weeds. There are a couple of little funny bits. How bizarre. Just bits I missed. Yeah, that's cool. It was interesting. It forced me to do a French translation, so it just wouldn't let me proceed to submit it without the 3 languages covered. So I'm hoping that and it was also interesting, my sister refused professionally to. She felt her French wasn't good enough. So, but I'm pretty confident in her German one, and Google seemed to be quite happy with the comparison between the two. So unless I've broken some cardinal rule that Giants haven't declared, I would hope that in due course we'll get to I'll get to actually see it on the mod hub. I was just explaining to John, after much gnashing of teeth and frustration, I was able to somehow repair the manure, so the manure heap is now connected to the cow barn. I'm not exactly sure what did it. The net effect appears to be positive, although there is some... Oh, I could probably look it up. No, I'm not planning to mess with it anymore. I did learn a little bit about how some of that works, although the data structure is very much a mystery. But animals, I didn't have anywhere near as much success querying that as I did when I finally got onto the right trail for my little mod. And what I've done now is created a little Lua script that is a mod in its own right, that allows me to just print a whole bunch of state information. I got really confused. I wasn't sure if that was just me not finding lots of what they do unintuitive. So the short answer is not with any success. I have downloaded it. I've got all the tools there. And I did have a look at it early on, but I was finding it even more opaque than Giant's editor, so now, to be fair, I haven't been out back and looked at it, and my understanding of how things work has increased a little over the last month or two, so I might be in a better place to make use of it now. Certainly the global explorer tool has proved quite helpful to get some things done. Fire it up, press F10 and so that's how you get across. Okay. Yeah, well, so if I just we'll digress for a minute, because it looks like there's only the two of you in. So if I go to, is that it? No. So if I go to Global Explorer, this is quite handy for so what did you just say? G current mission. So I've got base mission, and that tells me then what all of the variables are, or the fields are, that are valid. Back up and further down. Oh, okay. Sorry. G animal screen. Which one did you say? Current mission. Yep. So I found this ability useful because it did give me some values for things at the state that I opened it. And names to reference them. So I found that quite helpful. What it not quite so useful. So if it's a table, obviously you need to be a bit more creative to get under the tables, but it definitely enabled me to assemble information about things I was trying to do pretty quickly. So I found this quite helpful, and therefore my little tool then just does allows me to put together little stubby functions that either print a set of things all at once, or like for instance, I have got it loaded at the moment, but I bound it to a key so that I can... Why is that not interesting? Right, that. I bound it to a key so I can in effect capture perspective of the functions I'm trying to run at a place that I am. Okay, cool. But the opacity of some of the things that happen is, I find, incredibly frustrating. So I'm trying to get my fart juice store going, and I've got to the point. So I've got I've made it into two components. There's sort of a silo component and a production component, because mixing together I was just compounding errors. Oh, I think I've missed a bit. Right there. At least I can sort of see these. Welcome along. We're just having a little bit of conversation about modding while I weed the field. Now, how have we done for weeds? Why have I got so many weeds left on here? Given the width of this weeder is bizarre. I can't have done that. Well, I obviously did do that awful a job. So we'll go and look at the fart juice store, or at least my progress on it, in a moment. Can place and look at the objects, but for reasons that are not entirely clear to me, the production side of it is not throwing any errors, nor is it being recognized as a production, which is just weird. Has that got... Maybe it's just the turning circle on this is wider than I thought it was. That's better. Okay, so the top end's finished. Yes, I am, Jack Sarge. Part of... and welcome along. Have giants limited the amount of text in chat? No, giants wouldn't have. Google might have. Are you being limited from what you can write? I haven't. So Google's changed a whole bunch of stuff. Google/YouTube have changed a whole bunch of stuff over the last few months. And if there's some setting somewhere that limits the amount of text, then I've missed it. They did change the interface, and when I complained, much to my surprise, they very pleasantly switched me back to the old one, so that was good. So yes, Jack Sarge, Henri's backstory is that he was a welder from with some experience in farm equipment repair, and he worked for Lely for a while. So he's got some understanding of how the sphere is put together. And there's that looking, one more row down there. And if I can find a reference on the correct line across. What's that about? There. His plan is to build his own. So we'll go and look at that in just a minute. It probably... There could well be a limit to... It's maybe a text message or something there or thereabouts. Certainly, you're good for what? You're good for at least 50 words. So maybe you just need to break it into a couple of texts, John. Or a couple of posts. Because we're certainly happy to help you if you've got an issue. Now, how are we going here? That's the next bit. It's down there. There you go. Welcome, Jason, and thank you for clarifying. It's not a limit that I have run into myself. I must say I normally find the various, on some of the streams I watch and things I respond to, I get told off for putting too many messages in a short space of time rather than the length of a message. Or for spamming emojis if I'm, you know, out there enough to actually use an emoji or two in a message. Let's just pull these out of that edge because that'll make me feel better. Right, so that's the weeding done here. Now I've got a sneaking suspicion. Let's fold you up. We'll run up to the other fields. We have one more. I've done the two fields up there, up behind us. So they're all weed free, but I've got a sneaking suspicion we may have weeds in our field up on the hill. We are all having a great day, Jason. Even if I am having a range of little technical challenges to keep me on my toes throughout the afternoon, trying to make things work. Some successes, so it's not all bad. They've got to be careful. This tractor likes to go us over biscuit. My fear is, because this field up here was the first one that I planted after harvest, and given that we're now in November, I've got a sneaking suspicion that the little weeds might have grown into bigger weeds, which will be, yeah, looking at the number of weeds I can see on it, it would seem to be the case. Let's just pull off to the side here. And they are. A hoe will be required. Okay, we'll worry about that. We've got two options really there. We do have a sprayer. We could spray them. Don't know if we've got any herbicide. But we'll see. We'll head back to the farm, and spraying is pointless. Why is spraying pointless, Mark? If weeds grow, you lose 4.5% yield. If you spray, you'll still lose. Why do I lose 4.5% yield if I spray? I'm completely unaware of that mechanic. Is there a difference between spot spraying and regular spraying? Because I know I get a payment bonus. I believe you. I know I get a payment bonus if my precision farming score goes up. But using the hoe is not pointless, right? All right, gets me back to 100%. Jason's hard testing the chat entry limits. Thank you very much, sir. That is very helpful. Let's turn you off. So now if we pop on our triggers for a second, and see my manure heap, lo and behold, is connected to the cow barn. Straw is getting consumed because it was full, and what I have done in the past, Mark, I don't know if I've got it on this save. I am a moderate fan of I don't think it's in the handheld sprayer. I'm pretty sure I confirmed that you could wander out into the field with the handheld sprayer, and that kicked the precision farming score up. And because the handheld sprayer only holds 5 litres, it's like not a big deal. But nonetheless, I'm not too worried. So this is the place where I want to put our Lily Sphere ripoff. And so what I've done is I've created 2 components. I've created the asset processor, which is intended to be a production. And so that's really interesting. It's not showing my triggers again. They're there. So he's intended to go there like so. And because that's a production, that's the one where, for reasons I'm completely baffled by at present, if I go get, hello, give me, thank you for putting that in the chat. Why is, I've got a mod conflict of some sort. I can't don't know what, there's a mod conflict that causes me to lose the cursor, and the only way to get rid of it is to get into a vehicle. But anyway, so the idea of this is, I've still have left the shelves in there, but you'll put your acid bins into there, and same problem. So it's actually whatever's triggering it. If I look over here, it has not put the production into the list. So despite it having a standard XML setup for a production, I've obviously got something wrong. It's not throwing any errors, but it is not recognizing it as a production. Anyway, that's part A. Part B is this guy, which is this container, and it's this bit, which is intended to go here like so. And the idea being that the fertilizer will collect in here. So you can see when I walk up to the cabinet, for whatever reason, so the cabinets should be connected to the production. Oh, thumbs up worth 4. Cool. So the idea is that you'll back the trailer up here, you'll be able to take liquid fertilizer, you'll put acid in the cabinet here, and depending when it's ultimately completed, depending on the number of cows in the shed, that will affect the formula at which it converts acid into fertilizer. So the idea is the cabinet as a production just as a simple formula for creating fertilizer, and it rolls over its storage, which it shares with the silo next door. So that's the simple concept, but for reasons I don't understand, something is not right. I think, let's actually see. Herbicide. That might have something to do with it because my... Oh no, there they are. Because their names are wrong. But their prices are wrong too. I've obviously messed something up, but I don't know what it is. So there should be two acid tanks there, a nitric and a sulfuric. They give you slightly different rates and they'll be different prices. So that's the so that's what it'll be. So we can just leave that there for the moment. No. Yeah, there's something I've messed up with my cabinet. Whoa. It's not behaving properly. Never mind. That's where we're up to. So let's head... Oh, for those that weren't here at the beginning, so we have a trailer of sugar beets, which were the leftovers from 2 contracts that we did. So the plan I'm heading towards is we will lease the mill for a short period to turn out sugar beet spoils into sugar, and that'll give us enough sugar beet to run through to the next harvest season. Meanwhile, we're going to harvest the alfalfa as alfalfa hay and sell that, and join these 2 fields together and put sugar beet in here, and therefore next season that will give us a bigger crop of sugar beet, which will give us a pretty good supply of sugar for everything that we're trying to do. In the meantime, we do have a sugar beet contract. So what I'm thinking is we'll head up and wherever that is, field 46. It shouldn't be too large. A little bit too far back, the big stuff. To be able to get to it, but we can nudge it into the yard. There we go. Then we can fold you up. Field 46. One of the reasons I took this contract was that it was this very similar equipment to what I had for the ones the other day, and that was remarkably painless. 46 is just around the corner from the shop, so it's nice and convenient. And we are delivering to where? Where? We're delivering to Souffle. Okay, up on the hill. Yeah, well, there was an element of that in the last stream coming off the back of carrots, which was behind my immediate dismissal of the concept of doing sugar beets. Now, where did I decide field 46 was? Is that just to the right? Yeah, it is. And because I wasn't particularly familiar with all of the equipment, I didn't fancy doing a contract with full behind. But it turns out this Anther has, I think it's 30,000 litres, and on these field sizes, it works a treat. So where is Build 46 up here. I'm gonna do it right there. This is what heavy vehicles do, isn't it? They just pretend they own the road and everybody else stops. Right you are. So 46 is up the top here somewhere. Because you think I should not see where I'm going? I know I've got no traffic coming towards me. We're almost at the field. Was that the effect you were going for, John? What we'll do... let's unfold the harvester. We can watch out the back window. Yes. And we're cooking. Rightio, so we'll do our own headland round here. You might have noticed back at the store there a pallet. So I was curious as to, because I think I mentioned in the last stream that I was somewhat oblivious to the other carrot harvesting options other than the big self-propelled one. And a piece of equipment I've since discovered and am quite intrigued to try is the trail behind carrot harvester on a smallish field, but that takes the 4 pallets, because 8,000 litres capacity is not horrid. And what I was, but however, that whole economics of carrots is busted if you've got to pay 130 euros a pallet and you're playing on hard economy. And so what I was curious about is, could you do a foreign order with the carpentry, for instance, and have them produce the boxes, the vegetable boxes that you need. I hadn't thought of that, Mark. That's a good point. I certainly haven't tested anything. And I can imagine when we get a version of the game when they unlock the DLC, there's all sorts of equipment solutions you could go for, but until the because you can't modify anything, and they are, the game is treating them like bales of a sort rather than like shop objects. Oh, sorry, production objects. I think in the future it gives rise to a number of possibilities. I kind of like the idea of a flatbed with, you know, a couple of hundred crates on it coming to the field and then dispensing them as you need them to the harvester, which then leaves crated product all over the field, which you come by afterwards and pick up. That strikes me as an interesting way to do the vegetables. So we might experiment with some of that somewhere down the track. So we're how far around this field? We're almost halfway around the field. I figured I'll do the first headlands, then I'll probably put the harvester on Crossplay, and we'll go and get the trailer sorted. The other thing, we can't use our own trailer, so, but the field is not enormous. That makes it a lot more economic if you get the pallets back when you sell them, if it takes them away. Welcome along. I think somebody, well, one or two others might have popped in. Great to have you there, even if you're sitting in the background. If you don't know what we're up to, please feel free to ask a question. Happy to explain anything and all of what we're doing and what we're up to. It's much more fun when you know what's going on. Right. So we'll see here. Pop you on Crossplay. Let's do 4 headlands. There'll be plenty. Start on the headlands. Do sharp corners. Now let's see. Where is that course? Cut in. We want you in about there. Looks like the second run. Pop you up to about there. Put you back to nearest waypoint and send you on your merry way. The issue John's having is that he uninstalled the game when it broke, and now when he reinstalled it, it keeps asking me for the serial number for... Right. Okay, so a couple of questions. The original game, have you got it through Steam or did you buy it direct from Giants? Yep. And then the question that follows the... Right, so it's Steam. Are all your expansion mods through Steam? Or did you buy some of them through Giants? because if you bought any of the mods through Giants, you'll need to enter the Giants, the code that was in the email they sent you, in order to unlock the DLC again. If they're all through Steam, my understanding is they should sync themselves, but you might need to trigger Steam to revalidate them. What I mean by that is, if you go into the shop in Steam before you run the game, so you reinstall the game, before you run it, go into the shop and download and click on the game, and it should show you all of the DLCs that are available to for sale. The ones that you already have should be flagged by Steam as you already own them, because installing it off your machine shouldn't have changed anything about your Steam registration. And if they're in there, then you should be able to validate the game install, which should force them all back onto your machine. I think that's the sequence. Does that, hopefully that makes some sense. I don't think I have an easy way to show you. Yeah, I haven't tried to do what you're trying to do. I've certainly revalidated the game, and that worked fine without breaking anything. Just let me have a quick look in the background here. You guys can just peer at the... Oh, let's go and unload the... Let me find the harvester. It'll be up in front of us somewhere. A bit underpowered. At least it's a bigger trailer than I got with the last contract. So that the contracts that I had last week, I got a 12,000 litre trailer with the 30,000 litre harvester. Now we've got a bigger trailer and just an underpowered tractor. I should have probably put the weight on the front, would have helped as well. We'll fill him up. Can we find a convenient spot between the trees there to back in without getting hooked up? Now, have I got... drop at souffle. I do. Can you get there? No. I probably don't have a point on this road either. Let's see. What's the bit this side road isn't connected to the main network? Let's have a look. Oh no. So I did something. So field 46, I've been up. That's correct. That wasn't the problem the other day. I was putting 12,000 litres in and that was within the weight limit. It was just that was the half pipe trailer that I had. Why will you not reach souffle drop? I obviously haven't finished sorting the network up here. Haven't had any need. There you connect over there. Oh, maybe you don't. Let's have a look here. You might go across that crossroad. I'll let you guys drive to there. I'm just going to duck out and have a look at my Steam for a second. See if I can clarify my suggestion to John. No, it's in the library, isn't it? Library. How do we do this? Let's do that. So I just so John, in your Steam, in your library, over here, if you select the game once it's installed, over here you should have a button for managing your DLCs. And I don't want to do that while I'm running the game or anything else is happening, but I think if you click on there, that will take you into a place that will either give you the option to reinstall them or force them to be loaded before you then start up the game. So that's on the library tab of Steam. So hopefully that's helpful. Yes, good on you. Yes, you are behind a car. No problems. Right, and we can turn off you for the minute. Just, whoops. I wish I globally applied the speed setting. Or at least there was an option to globally apply it. I mean, we were in severe risk of a rollover at that point. Now, So he's going up the top of the hill. Let's go to the store and have a look at hose. Weeders. Have I got? Is that a hoe? That is a hoe. And even though it says they're for those crops, I've got a sneaking suspicion they work fine for all crops. What's that? That's a weeder. That's a weeder. That's a weeder. And then my only other alternative's the chop start. I don't want to spend 51 grand on a hoe at this point. Madara Agro Sunrise. Huh. Weeder and hoe in one. Oh, I have it by the looks. Is that one? I might already have it here, Mark. Is that it there? That's a 6 meter version of it. And that's a bigger one. 140 horses. We can do 140 horses. He sounds good. Red is a nice colour. Design colour. That looks a bit better. Okay, on that recommendation, we'll have one of those, just in the colour it comes in. And we just got back in time. I don't mind having a separate tool for weeding and for hoeing. That kind of strikes me that they're different tasks. I know it's not required if you got the mod set up to do it, but I kind of put it in the same vein. It's very easy to have a laundry list, but I'm kind of hoping that in the next version of the game they introduce the mechanics that mean that cultivators and plows and disc harrows and the like actually do perform a different purpose, and that there's a different reason that affects your yield for using them. Or at least a mode you can play in that that's the case. And I understand some people don't want to play that way, and that's fine. Now, can I get back to field 46? I reckon I might be able to. Why would you want to go that way? Okay. You do that then. Meanwhile, we will... where are we going to park you? We'll park you over beside the workshop. Actually, we might put you at the back of the workshop. I put this little workshop bay in here to specifically for servicing equipment rather than tractors. Figured we needed the space. Let's go down the store. We're starting to get a bit of equipment, which is good. We need to keep an eye on that unloader because I haven't set him up to automatically grab the beets. But we should be able to send this guy up to field 71, and at 12 meters it'll make short work of that field. In fact, it folds up quite neatly there. Kudos, how are you? This is a map called Pallegney. And that's the translation I get from Google Maps, but this is what it looks like. It's beautiful. There is a link in the description. It's in the description of the vid. It's in the title of the vid. And it's available on the Mod Hub. There is a link in the description. I do recommend it. It's good fun. Now I've lost my... There we go. That's the screen I was looking for. Lots of good stuff. But welcome along. Thanks for joining us. No problem at all. If you have any other questions, feel free to sing out. We are here to help. Just like the government. Speaking of which, our UK visitors, I understand there's a national service conversation started in your neck of the woods. My goodness. That was a little of an unexpected... about as unexpected as your election announcement. Not that I want to get into politics, but just felt it needed recognising. Where are we trying to go here? We're trying to go to field 71, aren't we? And we should be able to get there. Now, let's go find this. There he is. No worries, Mark. Have a good visit to France. I'm sure good food and wine will be forthcoming. And my nephew turns 18 in a couple of months. I did think that the introduction of a conversation about the topic was a little insensitive, given that you've got a whole bunch of potentially affected people just about to sit their final exams. No worries, Mark. Thank you very much. That almost got a full load out of there. It doesn't take long to drop 18,000 litres out of that. The second of our Jasons has popped in. Good to see you, mate. Thank you. Thank you for identifying my ricket with the thumbnail. Much appreciated. Oh, come on. I feel like I push the accelerator and then 5 seconds later it decides to move. It's like a car I used to have. Okay, so our man's reached field 71. We might indeed attempt to fix the auto drive course just as we make the crossroad, because I think that's where I spotted a small whoopsie. So if we come down here, you can see this blue section's a two-way road, which is fine, but I've got a sneaking suspicion at the bottom there's no straight through connection. There's one that comes back towards me, because on the other side I put two green roads in rather than... Yeah, there it is. So this dot here has got one coming across, one turning and one turning, but nothing heading back that way, which is what we need. And now I should be able to go to the souffle drop. Bingo, bango, bongo. Right. So Mark in a secondary business importing French antiques into the UK. Who knew? Right. Let us jump to our other tractor. Why are you in... How bizarre. So I sent this guy to field 71. I gotta tell you, field 71's markers over there. Very odd. So let us... This is going to expand to be fairly wide, isn't it? So let's unfold him. Pop you down. Hopefully because of its width, we'll be able to see where we've been, and because of the growth on the weeds, that's working a treat. All jobs should be so easy. Let's get rid of you. Lovely day to be weeding. Beautiful view of the village. Yeah, can we sort of zoom around there without dipping new equipment in the creek? Yes is the answer. Time for a drink. Right, so 11 o'clock in the morning, one contract a fifth of the way through. We've got our weeding progressing nicely, so it's just the alfalfa we need to deal with. What I'm thinking of doing is buying a front mower that will enable me to swath, well, maybe a swathing front mower, but at least enable me to put a tedder on the back so I can cut and ted, because it's not a huge field, in a single pass. Let's go back around the other way. Get that one over there, lone straggler. Too many windows open. I'm sure I've got a hotkey set up to get rid of the HUD completely, but I do like having my dashboard visible of sorts. Another thing that I'd reckon would be kind of cool in the, but nonetheless fairly unlikely in the next version of the game, would be the ability to output to a second screen, so dual screen support in Farm Sim itself. We're full again up there, I'm guessing. And we're going to send the... Where is he? You need to unload. Well, I can probably... Let's see. We want to... unload the combine at fields 46 and bring it to souffle drop. Yeah. And then we want to go to the combine and do field 46 and connect you to Crossplay. With any luck, you'll sit there quite happily until he gets back. Well, let's see how that goes. Which will turn you off again. I'm very happy with Mark's recommendation on Weeder. That is roaring through the field. Pretty cool animations. Jack Sarge, I'm not sure, did you have a further question on the Lely sphere, or was it just yeah, 12 meters for the win, absolutely. Was it just querying whether Henri was going to go down that path, if I can ever figure out what I've done wrong in my mod? I recall when I was seeding this field, I actually seeded it on Crossplay because I was doing a few things at once, trying to get ready for one of the streams, and I had a odd experience that I only just caught. So somewhere along the line, the seeding tractor managed to skip courses, so it got from the course I'd set it onto a different part of the course, and it left a whole center of the field unseeded, which wasn't visible for the road from the road. And it was only because I drove down the boundary of the field over there to connect with that track that I happened to spot it. Otherwise we would have got a couple of months in and had a big dirt patch in the middle of this field. which I wouldn't have been impressed about. Right, that is all our fields weeded for the minute. Our unloader hasn't got back yet, so we'll go and check on him. We'll give him a few more minutes to navigate around the fields. There's every chance I've got a setting wrong on the setup, of course. Grant, welcome in, sir. Thank you for dropping by. We've just finished some weeding. We have a sugar beet contract going in the background. Been doing a few things, buying some equipment. We've purchased this hoe. The things are coming along quite nicely. The other thing we can probably do now that we know we're going to get some more sugar beet at the end of that contract is use our other tractor to take... Now where am I going to park this? Might have to put it down on the lower level. We have both Jasons in the house that I'm aware of. Someone called Kudes, if he's still there. Mr. Haythornwaite was here, but has had to head off to France. And there may be some others. So it's a busy night. Now, what was I saying? I was going to grab this tractor. Because the way we're going to solve our short-term sugar problem, I hope, is by taking our sugar beet here. And this only works this way. Well, it hasn't worked yet, but it wouldn't have been a thing that we could do if we were delivering to the mill. The plan is to lease the mill for a day and turn our small amount of sugar beet into sugar. Let's see what's happening down here. Bit of an awkward yard to work in, but we'll make it. Let's jump out of there. So I've got the lease productions mod on, and that gives me this pop-up when I come to a production, which I now want to lease because the purchase price of this is 800,000, which is just horrible. So we want to lease it. $1,000 a day sounds highly reasonable. Probably a little too reasonable, but nonetheless. So yes. So we now have a mill which we've got to go through and turn everything off. What it does give us the ability to check really easily, of course, is all of the formulas. And as you can see, one of the reasons this mill's expensive is that it does everything. But we just want it to create some sugar. So we're going to end up with 9,000 litres of sugar, which to purchase would have cost us best part of 14 grand. So this is a very good deal for us. So we activate him. And see if we can put this on the input ramp. Come on, round you go. Strategically placed bin just to make it difficult. Just like real life, actually. The bane of all loading dock deliveries. The eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed that our trailer did get back to the field and has successfully emptied, or at least half emptied, the harvester, so we can head up there and do a trailer load to help that along while the sugar is being made. I did have it on spawn, didn't I? I do want it to spawn. Yeah, I think spawn's a good idea because then we'll know where it's going. Argsy, things are going very well. Thank you for dropping by. Good to see you. We're doing lots of things at once. We have a bit of sugar beet. We've just leased the sugar mill. Simple idea is why Giant Zeta shuts down when you try to open an i3D. So the times I've had that experience grant, my editor has somehow gotten itself out of sync and it's a bug in the editor. Are you running the latest version of the editor? Which street are we going up? We're going up this one, I think. Oh no, we're not. Wrong one. Wrong one. I'm getting lost in my own map. Oh, that wasn't the road I thought it was. How rude. Driving someone's gates. It doesn't hurt to pull it out and start again. I've found the editor can be quite finicky about its install state. Not the one I want. It's better. This wasn't the one I wanted either. Okay, good to know. One of these days I'll find the correct road back to this field. It's over there. It was the next one. Pretty sure I spread the lime on that field, so I reckon he'll forgive me for tootling. I was empty, so not too much harm done, I hope. We're going to get to the harvester just before he fills, by the looks. One thing you can try, because Court Farms is a big map with lots of inbuilt stuff, is just open a simpler map, or in fact any i3D for that matter, and check that, because that'll give you a pretty good clue that Giant's editor itself is intact. And obviously without knowing your system configuration, I could imagine Court Farms using a lot of resources to edit. I haven't looked at the stats, but it's a big file. That's probably my short list of things to try. So Argsy, quick question, or moderately quick, I think. Were you able to stream in that tall format from a single OBS session, or do you have to run separate OBS sessions in order to do it that way? Yeah, no, I understand. The only reason I opened Court Farms was to get rid of well, I did a couple of vids on it, but mainly to fix the gates. So there is a plug-in. I suspect my audience isn't necessarily big enough to warrant it, and I haven't done anything in the shorts space. Yeah, we'll wait for this guy. He's got a cool hat. Even if he only got halfway across the street before turning around. Well, now that I know what I'm looking for, I'll certainly have a look at it. I've got to learn a little more about... 30 subs would be a huge number for me, so absolutely. Because I haven't loaded any content for about 8 months, I'm in that space where every day I get further away from getting to the minimum hurdle for YouTube. So that's just the reality of where I'm at. Yeah, you might not be able to post that current. I'll find it, but thank you. Exactly. Well, I'm in the queue for my first mod with Giants, so we'll see where that heads up. I'm not expecting it to be a quick process. Well, mine's a script, so it won't trouble the console hurdles. Yes, that did occur to me, Jason. I gave him 2 yesterday. I figured that wouldn't hurt, and that probably alone is almost a reason for doing it, to try and sort of get your stats up. I certainly, if I'm sitting there watching, I found it easier to watch on the widescreen, but I guess lots of folks do everything on their phone, and the vertical format's ideal. I'd have to really think about how I position the screenshots though. Otherwise I could end up with folks on vertical just having tiny views of tractors in the background. Right, how are we going there? Who's blocked? Yep. Why do I think we... Oh, we got caught on a tree. Let's fix that for future reference. Now, what were you trying to do? You're not quite full. What did you do to the course? You've completely forgotten where you're up to, okay? Let's do it. Are you going to behave yourself? Or have you given up as well? No, you're fine. Well, thank you, John. I suppose the sophisticated thing to do would be to have parallel streams with enough different perspective, maybe different views of the same thing, that made it interesting for people to watch both. I was just saying, Argsy, one of the things on my wish list for a new version of Farm Sim that I think is highly unlikely, but nonetheless would be interesting, at least for the community, is the ability to have dual screen support. So to be able to put part of the game feed out to a second device. Because I think that would start to open up a whole bunch of interesting things. Now, of course, not much use, and nor possible to consoles, but at some point I think Giants are going to reach the point where they need 2 parallel developments. Well, exactly, and that's certainly my point of view. It's a good time. We can sit and speculate as to all of the things that might be possible. Now, where did I get to? What is he? Oh, that's where I put that loop, isn't it? That's all right. He's driving exactly where I asked him to. We are how far through this contract? Details. So, 220. So that's another 9 or so trailers. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Jason. I guess, in fact, I guess that's a way you could. So, split screen multiplayer would be a thing, but if you've got that capability, in effect, you're getting the console to write to 2 devices. So then, there's no reason why a single player couldn't use it to see 2 views at once. So, yeah, there you go. A couple of seconds thinking about it, and we've come up with a good reason why it should be not just for PC. Now, I was going to do something that I have completely forgotten because you've gotten me distracted with imagination again. Let's go back to the yard. He's going to empty. He's going to be in the way. Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Let's send you 46 and souffle. Well, let's not confuse imagination with expectations, Grant. Right? It's kind of like letting the facts get in the way of a good story. Oh, my manures hasn't changed, no? So it's still not full in there. What's it? For those that aren't aware, I've had a devil's own job getting the manure to connect on this farm, and it finally appears to be working of sorts. So yeah, so the cow barn's now got 2,700 in it that I can't see where it is. The manure heap's still not growing though, but at least it's showing it's connected. For those that didn't see it before, we have a modest step forward. So this is our main character, Henri, used to work for Lily Sphere, and so he's building a what he commonly refers to as the fart juice store next to the cowshed. When it's finished, the acid will go in here and the liquid fertilizer goes in there, and a script will read the number of cows in the shed and vary the formula accordingly. That's a little ways off as I'm still struggling to get this to work as a production, but obviously done something silly. But that'll be my home-built Lily sphere. And for anyone that's watching that wasn't aware, the mod that I've got coming, if I survive the Giants testing process, is the ability to do what I'm doing there, turn the triggers on and off without going through a menu, and assign them to a key on one of your devices. Now, where are we up to? We need to buy a front mower. So what's a good... Is that a front mower? Well said. It could be a steel sphere. I just refer to it as the Fart Juice Factory. That's its working title. That in and of itself is enough reason why it will never be submitted to Giants as a mod. What's this guy? Can he... Does anyone know if the Semas swath or Samash? Because down the track I might get the other half of it, but at the moment I only want a front mower. There's a OBS put a darn icon marker across the end of the text feed, so I can't actually read the last couple of words of your post until it gets to the next line. Call it a steel ball there. Very good. Boom, boom. Let me guess, you're here all week. I could probably put an emote in. Oh, that was a bad idea. And that closed that window. Good. Good to know I'm on the ball. Or not. Let's try that again. You can turn it off in the stream settings. Oh, I haven't found that. John likes the Kong. Let's have a look at the Kong. I actually liked this, but then I figured it wasn't. Oh no, that's a front mower, isn't it? But I don't have a front PTO at the moment. That was the one that I thought was kind of cute, but I don't have a front PTO on the McCormick. Kong, where was it? Kong's Guild. Does it swath, John? If I don't have a front PTO, it's not going to work anyway, is it? That's a dumb thing to say. Do I have a PTO there? I should... No, I do not. The front mowers don't swath. Okay, doesn't matter. I don't have a front PTO anyway, which means I need to just do it the way. We'll pass on the mower for the moment until we pick up a good next mower. We will continue with our current solution. We do have a perfectly serviceable mower, and this is for the alfalfa. And true to the thumbnail, I am still trying to decide if alfalfa's a weed or not. Which way have I put this in here? Not that way. Just as well, our Henri's a fairly sturdy chap. You can just flick that out there without too much trouble. It's a weed when in a wheat crop. And let's see here. Let's interesting. I've never, now I'm stuck on the fence. Good on you. Never mowed alfalfa before, so we'll see what happens here. And I certainly haven't done it on this map, so no idea what to expect from the texture. We'll just drive across our crop for the minute. Let's have a look. Now I should be able to get out. Pretty little purple flowers. So we're going to turn it into alfalfa hay simply because it's worth more to us. And it's pretty near top price at present. Surprisingly near for this time of the year. Not this. Hardly. And we're going to have all sorts of grass mixed in with the alfalfa. I assume when it's going for animal feed, a small percentage of that is acceptable. Right, get that bit. Whee! Okay, the harvest is full again. The class is full. Where's the magnum? What do I think? They're stuck somewhere. Hello. So in the next couple of weeks, I am working towards doing a stream where we check back in on mental block. Age, Silver and Forest, Jake. That's who I'm thinking of. So a few years on, sort of check in to see where they got. Seeing I left the series before I was kind of finished, and I'm not in a position to do much in the way of. It's kind of interesting. If you get any grass under the mower, it dominates the drop. And also, because I sense that Farms in Briscoe is getting close-ish to releasing his updated oaks, when that comes out, we're going to do a second generation Pallegney series. So we'll probably sort of go to one of this and one of that a week. But the concept that I'll be going for is each of the Putney kids will have established themselves in a different farm on the oaks, and so that'll make for some interesting exploration of the new map. I am planning to bale it, John, after I've tedded it. That may be a mistake, given that I've not done it before, but I was expecting that all I needed to do was mow it, ted it, swath it, and bale it. I could be in for a rude shock. To be honest, this was probably better than spending the money on a mower. I don't know whether to be very afraid of that comment, John. We shall see in a moment. Now, what has the Vulture not got any? The class has just been to unload, I think, or is going to unload. Oh no, the Vulture is as well. That's all right. Unless they're both stuck on the same road waiting for each other. I have had that happen before. These roads are a little narrow. We might need to duck across and just, because the Vulture's not moving, which is not a good sign. You're sitting, oh, you're stuck on a fence, that's why. Really? Have you got any crop in there? No, just back up, sweetheart. Okay. That's what we were waiting for over there. And meanwhile, back at the mowing. You've got me worried now, John. before I cut all the field. We'll just duck back over here. I'm pretty sure that's the little tedder. Didn't I have a big tedder? It sounded better in my head. Thought we bought a new tedder. Did we or not? No. Not down there. So maybe we've just got the one. We definitely bought a bigger swather, which is hiding over there behind, not in front of the tedder, so let's pull you out because we're going to need you anyway. Right, back on over here, bend down and connect you on. Let's see. Let's do 3 headlands. Sharp corners. That'll work. 4.2 sounds narrow. .4. That's right, we'll work with 4.2. First waypoint. Oh no. That's looking like alfalfa hay, I'm hoping. We'll let him trundle around, certainly changing the texture, so that's a good start. Let's get this guy out of the way. My goodness, it's gone 9:30. How time flies when we're busy. We'll just run up and down the sides here. We'll be finished mowing this in a sec. I've got enough time, we'll be able to get a bale or two done. And our man on the TED is making good progress over there. You can see that distinct colour difference there between the two textures. Welcome along. Did we have someone just pop in? If you did, it's great to see you. There are a few folks in chat. I suspect some of them are playing the game. No worries, John. Thanks for being here, mate. See you next week. We will be finishing up in just a couple of minutes. In fact, when I get to the top here, I just want to run and make sure I can make an alfalfa bale, because that was the objective. For which we will need a tractor. Yeah, okay. Baler coming. Won't bother to swath just for the purposes of making a single bale. It's not a big baler. It's grass, don't want grass. Alfalfa hay, beautiful thing. A fairly reasonable quantity of it. We are going to swath it in due course. Try not to mix the grass in there with it, because that'll just make awkward exercise. And there we go. Oh, it's more than 3,500. Volume, so it compacts quite nicely by the looks. Why doesn't he look like he's got any crop in? And why is he going that way without any sugar beet in the trailer? He does, he's just not showing it. That's interesting. So he's full, but I just couldn't see it on the way past. Right. So there we go. One bale of alfalfa hay. So that's, folks, that's where we might leave it for tonight. It's been a fun one. We've got a few things done. I think for Monday's stream we'll have jumped through Christmas and into the new year. But until next week, I'm planning to be back Monday night, 7:30. Feel free to pop by if you're around and see what we're up to. Thanks for watching, everyone. See ya.